Hello, I'm Chiranjib Sengupta, and you're with me here at the Energy Connect studio at India Energy Week in Goa. My next guest is Scott Sandlin, the India Country Chair for ExxonMobil. Scott, welcome to the Energy Connect studio, and such a pleasure to have you with us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Chiranjib. It's very nice to meet you and pleased to be here.
Likewise. And to start off, talk to us about ExxonMobil's growing business in India, and how do you see that align with the Viksit Bharat program and agenda?
So we've been here for over a century in India. We started providing liquid fuels in the early decades of the 20th century, helping provide energy security for India. In the early 60s, we began supplying lubricants to help keep India on the move. In the late 90s, ExxonMobil helped pioneer the LNG market here, bringing the first supplies into India in 2004. And we have been scaling, or we have been steadily growing our business here, I would say, over the last 30 years. But what has become very clear in the last several years is the incredibly strong fit between the capabilities that ExxonMobil has, our strengths, our scale, our capabilities, and what is required to help meet and advance the Viksit Bharat 2047 objectives. So, India is very important to us for lots of reasons, but particularly if I think about just the incredible talent in this country, I think about the growth of the market here as India continues this incredible growth journey. Mm-hmm. And again, I think about the strategic fit between what we bring and our strengths and what India needs to advance its national priorities. So we've been leveraging the talent in this country for about the last 10 years in our Global Capability Center in Bangalore, where, it is very unique to ExxonMobil in that there are very few places outside of the US that touch all elements of our corporation, all of our global businesses, all of our central organizations, and India is the one. And so we have grown that GCC over 20% last year, and we'll continue that growth journey on the years ahead here. So we see many opportunities across the board to be able to leverage the strengths that we bring, our scale, our integration, and our capabilities to directly impact what India has set as its national priorities. And that's very exciting.
So one of the areas that you're looking to leverage is the manufacturing and services when it comes to oil and gas equipment.
Yeah.
Tell us, what are the opportunities that you, as such a major global player, that you see in India?
When I talk about the capabilities that we bring, in this particular space, I think about our industry-leading project execution, and it is a direct match for Make in India. And let me unpack it a little bit more. So ExxonMobil invests over $20 to $25 billion a year in our capital investments around the world. A large majority of that is equipment, oil and gas equipment, fabrication, and infrastructure build to support these multi-billion-dollar projects. And since about 2010, we've manufactured some equipment in India. Last 2 years, we spent just under $100 million, but it is incredibly clear to us the opportunity to scale that significantly into the billions of dollars. And that plays directly into Make in India. And India has what it takes to be successful in this space. You think about the incredible talent that we've talked about earlier, including the skilled workforce. You think about the growing supply chain resilience, the increasing connectivity. You think about the proven industrial manufacturers that have a track record at building quality, complicated things. And so India has all of those ingredients, and all of those come together to create lower operating costs that drive more efficient businesses. So very clear to us that now is a great time to be making in India, and it is the right time to be making in India.
So you touched on the scaling up part of your strategy, and one of the areas that you're also looking at is shipbuilding. For example, India has a strategic focus on shipbuilding. Yeah. how do you see that, when it comes to the supply chain?
Hmm.
Do you see any sort of capability overlap there? And how does that sort of play out for you as a global player?
I mean, short answer to your question is 1,000% yes. There are incredible synergies between shipbuilding and the manufacture of oil and gas equipment. And let me talk a little bit more about that. You touched on supply chain. The supply chain required to do both is the same. The infrastructure required to do both is the same.
Mhm.
The workforce required to do both is the same. And again, I think about welders, and the process of manufacturing is the same. So in modern day shipbuilding, ships are built in modules, right? So think like big Lego blocks that are then fitted together to make a big ship. That is exactly how we like to build oil and gas facilities, what we call mega modules that are fabricated and then shipped to location, fitted together, and resulting in refineries, petrochemical plants, gas plants, etc. So ExxonMobil wants to build about 350,000 metric tons of mega modules over about a 5-year period. And that is, for context, that's roughly equivalent to 7 VLCCs, or very large crude carrier ships. And we would love for that work to be done right here in India. We think, again, as I said earlier, India has what it takes to be successful in this space. We do, and we're encouraged by our early discussions, I would say, with suppliers on what are their capabilities. Do they have the capabilities required to deliver this complex work? Encouraged by that. But I would say that India would benefit from intentional focus in a couple of areas to help make sure that you can fully unlock this synergy and advance Viksit Bharat. And so I would say continuing to invest in that skilled workforce that is required to do these complicated fabrications. Again, I'll use welders as the example. Continue to invest in the manufacturers, the suppliers, to meet the high global standards for these complicated fabrications. Being very focused and coordinated on the build out of infrastructure, to be able to unlock both shipbuilding and oil and gas fabrication together. So think about shipyards, think about ports, think about road and rail connectivity, and how to unlock that synergy of doing both together. And then lastly, I would say to be able to provide stable and predictable transfer price mechanisms so that global companies have the clarity on our tax liabilities. And that clarity is so important because it gives global corporations the confidence to be able to fully deploy our capabilities and our capital in a way that most aggressively helps advance Viksit Bharat 2047. We're incredibly excited to help team up with India to leverage each other's strengths to create that shared value and unlock the opportunity here.
Absolutely. There's a whole lot of synergies and opportunities to be unlocked there.
Yes.
And finally, Scott, we are here at India Energy Week. This is your first time here.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways? What do you see as the key narrative here?
Well, I mean, I think, IEW it's been exhilarating, right? To be able to meet the broader ecosystem here in India, to be able to inform my instincts and my perspectives better by all of the contact and context that you get here. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think as I emerge from IEW, it is even more clear to me that the strengths and the capabilities and the scale of ExxonMobil are a perfect match for what is needed to help advance India's strategic priorities in Viksit Bharat 2047. And I'm incredibly excited about that and taking that forward in the years to come.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for coming down to the Energy Connect studio.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Scott Sandlin there, the India Country Chair of ExxonMobil. For more interviews like this and comprehensive coverage of the energy industry, go to energyconnects.com. I'll be back with more studio interviews from India Energy Week in Goa. Stay tuned.